This is Bharat FM.
बजेगा भारत झूमेगा भारत.
ये है भारत FM.
बजेगा भारत झूमेगा भारत.
Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal, welcome and adab. You are listening to Bharat FM, a one-of-its-kind, multilingual, eclectic provider of entertainment, information and news to Indian Americans. Headquartered in Cincinnati, Ohio, Bharat FM airs shows out of Cincinnati, Chicago and Phoenix. We take pleasure in our ability to cater to your bhakti, chusti, sfurti, shakti and masti needs with our audio and visual shows. Check out bharatfm.com for our online program schedule and archives. I'm sure the content will definitely tickle your senses. Tune in via the 24-hour web streaming on bharatfm.com or via the Bharat FM app. More information can be procured at 513-488-5070.
Hello everybody, Namaskaram, Vanakkam, Namaskar, good evening, good day. To all the viewers and listeners of Storytellers Cafe, welcome to this special Navaratri edition on Storytellers Cafe, where we are screening Devi Mahatmayam. It's a unique story about the goddess, and all the 9 days you will see the story unfolding little by little. It's an audio visual presentation with also the spoken word. And if you've been watching the first 2 days, we had a wonderful session the first 2 days. And today we will unfold the third episode for you. So stay tuned, my friends. And we have in the studios one of those accomplished Devis herself, Ragini Iyer from Salem. Salem is a small town, industrial town, I would say a textile town. Many of you would know that from southern India, very close to Coimbatore. So, welcome to all the listeners from Salem, Coimbatore, Bangalore, Mumbai, and all over India. So let me recapitulate. You know that we've been showcasing Antarmayi, that is Devi Mahatmayam, which is a collaborated effort, I would say, a choreographed by 3 wonderful ladies who came together: Sujatha Ramanathan, Ragini Iyer, and Rakshita Raghunathan. So, Storytellers Cafe takes pride in presenting the 3 talented artists with a quest to find the inner goddess. The goddess is within us. Evil and good is also within us. So, this is a beautiful collaborated choreography which has spoken words in English, jathis and swarams, raag, aalaap as defined for each of the 9 days of Navaratri. For all the music aficionados, we started day 1 with Todi, and yesterday we had Kalyani. That was the ragam. Today, let's see which ragam unfolds. This production encapsulates the various glorious facets of the Supreme Goddess, Antarmayi. So let me recapitulate the story. This story happened eons ago, during the higher ages, where righteousness stood on all 4 legs. In those times lived Markandeya Rishi, the sage, and he was recounting this story to sage Baguri. So he told him that there once lived a king, Suradha, who was driven out of his kingdom by his own people. And he met one businessman, and his name was Samadhi, who was also driven out of his home by his wife and sons. So the 2 of them met in the forest, and they discovered that Both had been driven out by their own family members about whom they worried day in and day out. So they thought this was unnatural. So they approached another sage, Sumedhas, who was also in the forest. Now the sage told them that all this was an illusion created by the great goddess Vishnu Maya. And the two, the king and the businessman, were so curious, they wanted to know more about this great goddess. That's when the sage Sumedhas related to them the story of Devi Mahatmayam, which actually consists of 3 stories, in all of which the primordial supreme energy kills the demons, the enemies of the gods. The first story we saw it unfolding on the first day, that of slaying of the 2 demons, Madhu and Kaitaba. They take the birth from the earwax of Lord Vishnu while he was asleep, and they start wreaking havoc in the Devalokam. So Brahma is the creator, and he prays to the goddess to help him continue his work of creation because that's getting disturbed. That's when the goddess appears and takes the form of Lord Vishnu. So we saw on the first day the awakening of Vishnu and how he kills the 2 asuras after wrestling with them for years, thousands of years, 10,000s of years. Since both these asuras were of tamasic nature, here the goddess takes the tamasic form. Now, the second story unfolded yesterday beautifully. This story showed us how the mother goddess helped the devas by killing the bull-headed demon Mahishasur. This asura, who had the form of a buffalo, drove away the devas and Indra, the king of the devas, from their home, Devalok. They all go and approach the Holy Trinity, Shiva, Vishnu, and Maheshwar, and they address their grievances to the 3 gods. This made the 3 gods very angry, and the innate power of the goddess in them came out and joined together. They united. This goddess was further strengthened by the powers of the various gods who invested her with various powers. So she was equipped with arms, all by the devas. This goddess, mainly consisting of the anger generated power, kills Mahishasur. She gets ready for battle. And let's see what unfolds today. So let me bring Ragini Iyer onto the studio, friends. And Ragini, as you know, is from Bangalore but presently staying in Salem. And Ragini is a management graduate from the Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, and also runs her own dance school. So, Ragini, could you tell us a little bit about yourself? And then let's see today's episode. Can you unmute yourself, Ragini?
Yeah. Hello, Usha. Good evening, good morning to all the viewers. And thank you, Usha and Storytellers Cafe, for having us over. And it's been a pleasure watching the whole screening unfold for the last 2-3 days. So I'm a management graduate from Indian Institute of Management, and I've had a fruitful 10-year career in corporate as well as in startups. So I think the startup part was very exciting because I was part of marketing team in a cancer research startup that got funded from different venture capitalists, and we were trying to take it to be a publicly listed company. So it was an amazing career, very fruitful career. But there was always, I've always been passionate about dance for the last many years, and slowly the idea was taking root. I was just teaching Bharatanatyam as a hobby initially during my free time over the weekends, but that sort of took root, and wanted to get closer to the art, explore more. So hence the decision. And a lot of things came together, Devi's Karuna, that during the pandemic, the company had to shut shop. So there's an opportunity in that, and that sort of pushed me to take the plunge. And here I am, and I'm very, very glad that I took the plunge, and probably at the right time, right age.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. This is the karuna of the goddess grace, because how else would we witness this Antarmayi? Because, like I've been telling, Devi Mahatmayam, of course, everyone in South India knows about Devi Mahatmayam, especially in the state of Kerala. I mean, I'm sure even in North India. But the story of Devi Mahatmayam has not been told. At least I'm not aware of it. And to present it on Storytellers Cafe is actually a privilege. And I would say it is Devi's grace to bring this. And then when we sat down with your team and we said we'll do it over 10 days of Navaratri, I think that's something unique. And so happy to present this Ragini, which you three have put together, beautifully conceptualized. And even if it's a 3-minute video, it offers so much input into the story. So much, it tells you so much about it that words are absolutely irrelevant. You don't need to kind of narrate the story because it's there for you. So,
Thank you, Usha, for the kind words. We wanted to stay very relevant to the current times, so we took the takeaways from Purana, and we sort of consolidated them into message that could stay relevant to the current times, that people can relate to in the current situation, and that's what is Antarmayi.
and that's the beauty. I tell you, when you kind of relate it to the audience of today, because that's what we need. And our Puranas are so rich, filled with such, I would say, gems, which offer us how to navigate in life. So it's a wonderful thing. Ragini, let's see the third day's episode. And then I would like to talk to you briefly about storyboarding, which is so relevant to storytelling.
Absolutely.
Devi is assailed by two asuras, Chikshura and Chamara. Devi and her right lion make small of the demons, slaying them in one-on-one conflict. Mahishasura pounded the surface of the earth with his hooves and bellowed in rage. The earth disintegrated, the sea overflowed, the mountains shook. Furious Chandika flung her noose over his horns to bind him. No, he changed forms to become a lion, man with sword, followed by an elephant, and back to being a buffalo. Quaffed the divine drink again and again, and let out a terrible laugh, her eyes becoming red. Ah! Ah! Adam, kutak,
tadingina tom. Ti 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 takita tom 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 takita nam 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 takita jum 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 takita di di takita tom tom takita nam nam takita jum jum takita tam takita di takita tom takita nam takita takita dikita tom kita nam kita takadika kirtaradom kirtaradom taradom takadika kirtaradom kirtaradom taradom. Wonderful, Ragini. This was lovely, beautiful. Could you tell us about the third day's
Yeah.
episode?
Absolutely. So the third day, yesterday we saw that the Devi was created. We wanted to show some of the details that are not generally talked about. For example, Devi's creation is one aspect that isn't much talked about, or a lot of people are not aware of it. So yesterday we showed those details, and today in today's story, we wanted to bring about a few other asuras who were very important generals in Mahishasura's army. Uh, People generally think that, oh, Mahishasura was the only asura killed, but he had a huge army. So other than this Chikshura and Chamara, there were a lot of other generals who got killed by Devi, her ride lion, and she pretty much vanquished anybody who came in her way. And in fact, Mahishasura was the last person to be killed by Devi. And of course, he was not an easy villain to tackle. Uh, so the thing over here is, how do we stay relevant to the current times? You would have seen in the video that Mahishasura is a shape-shifting demon. Every time Devi threw a weapon at him, he changed form to become a lion, become an elephant, a man, and back to a buffalo. So that represents our greed or want, because there's no end to the wants that we have in life, right? It's a it's a vicious cycle almost. So we accomplish something, we're not happy, we want something else, we get that, then we want something else. So Mahishasura's character, it sort of signifies how we are never satisfied, how we are never fulfilled with all the things that we have. So we wanted to bring about, that concept, and let people know that gratitude is probably one of the aspects that we should start practicing for a more fulfilling life. Not to sound very preachy, but there are many layers to our Puranas. So as we start, peeling the layers off, we get to see what are the meanings Puranas hold for us. So it's not just a story.
Absolutely. Beautifully explained. I love that shape shifting demon. That's something I'm going to take away. So, Ragini, just tell us in brief that you've done enough research on this. I can see that, because I know Mahishasur. I write Ayiri Nandini, and I was just reading. My sister said, see, it says, uh, Madhu kaita bhabanjini kaita bhabanjini rasarate. So all the demons' names come in the Mahishasura Mardani Stotram. And you have obviously done research, and you uh, actually drew out the storyboarding. Can you just tell, because some of the viewers are storytellers, and storyboarding or story, how would you say that? For us, it's very important for storytellers to do the storyline, so that helps you to remember. It's a mnemonic device. We can't by heart and tell a story, but we need certain trigger points. So tell us about storyboarding.
Absolutely. So one of the first things that we did after finalizing that Devi Mahatmayam is the text that we are going to, perform. We read through the entire text. the translation of the text, because most of shlokas are in Sanskrit. So we read through the entire translation. We referred to a couple of different documents. We also spoke to an expert, so Sujatha Aka's contact, her teacher. We had a number of calls with her, asking her to explain, what are the layers, what is behind each shloka, and what is the actual meaning in the current context. And she walked us through a lot of uh, the deeper meanings. So it was very important for our presentation, because that's how we could sort of package it into a very short and crisp presentation, but at the same time bring out the most important things. Um, and once we had the chats, we came day wise, because we now know that there are three important stories, and we sort of have the timelines also. For each day, we this is what we need to present. And so we decided that for each day, this would be the story. And for Madhu Kaitapa, the episode itself was a short one. I mean, the in the text itself, the episode was short, so we just gave it one day. And we picked out Brahmastuti was the most important message from that, and we sort of developed that. Similarly, for Mahishasura, we wanted to give a couple of days. The last story that will start tomorrow, I mean, I'm not giving away too many details right now, but that is the longest story of Devi Mahatmayam, and there are a lot more characters coming up over there. So we wanted to give substantial time over there. And there are quite a few villains coming up, and each of those villains represent something, some takeaway for the viewers. So that's how we divided the time. And trust me, the first storyboard that we developed is nowhere close to the final storyboard. So every day we used to sit and edit. Also, since this is a choreographic process, we had to set in the music, we had to match the storyboard, the music, and the choreography. So there were so many revisions every day. We used to meet for that, and we used to think, oh, will this music be fine for this, how should the music be for each scene. So all these background work was going on an everyday basis, and that's how the storyboard came up. um, Again, so the highlight of the storyboard that I would say is, we have taken things that are not highly talked about, even from Devi Mahatmyam. We have tried to pick up things which are lesser known. So we have, in a sense, we have tried to go down a path that is a little less traveled in Devi Mahatmyam itself, so that people get to know, what are the background stories of each character. So some days were like that. Some days were about delving into very the deeper meaning, so that we get the context right for the current situation. Yeah.
Thank you, Ragini, for explaining that so beautifully, because story mapping is what we storytellers do. We map the story. Storyboarding has, guess, more details, since this had music, dance, jathis, swaras, and then, you had to do that. That was lovely, wonderful. So, a lot of um, planning goes into a production like this before
Absolutely.
you put it out. Even if it's a 3 minute or a 2 minute video, hours of research and work.
Correct.
Thank you for presenting this.
Yeah.
It's
And
wonderful.
also,
Yeah.
sorry, just wanted to add that we had to plan all of this from output perspective. We had to, it has to be visually appealing, and that's where Rakshita comes in, because that's where we have to involve multiple people and see how the output is going to be. So that's how
Yes,
it.
yes. We are waiting to get Rakshita in the studios, and she will talk to us about the technical um, part of putting this whole production together. But thank you, Ragini. It was awesome. To all the listeners out there, stay tuned. Today was only day 3. We have 6 more days to go. And as the story unfolds, and I'm sure it's kind of whetted your appetite, you want to have something more, right? So keep watching Storytellers Cafe at 8:30 p.m. tomorrow, and for all the 6 days culminating on the 15th of October. So, same time, 11 a.m. United States Eastern Time. Do watch it. Drop in your comments on the chat box. We would love to hear from you. And even if you haven't seen this at 8:30, it's archived. It's there. You can always go back and watch it again and again. Sit with your family, especially children, and introduce them to the inner goddess and all the villains that live inside us. And it's not difficult, we can easily surmount them. So, and Devi Mahatmayam will give you those little pointers as to how you can overcome all those villains that reside in each one of us. Thank you so much, Ragini. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. And keep watching Antarmayi till the 15th of October. See you tomorrow, same time, same place.
This is Bharat FM.
बजेगा भारत झूमेगा भारत.
ये है भारत FM.
बजेगा भारत झूमेगा भारत.